characteristics, and today's topic is about wearing the khuff or the socks, the leather cover that covers your feet, or the socks that is made of fabric that we sometimes use to wipe on our socks. The hadith goes, أهدى النجاشي للنبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم خفين أسودين ساذجين فلبسهما ثم توضأ ومسح عليهما. Al-Najashi, you know, the king of Abyssinia at that time, now called Ethiopia, he gifted the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam two leather socks, al-Khuff, that's what we call, and they were black in color. So the Prophet did wear them sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he made wudu, and then he used these two socks or these two leather khuff to do what? To wipe on them. Now, ahda najashi, because the Prophet does not take sadaqah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Prophet only accepts hadiyah. He does not accept a donation like a normal poor person. He was the most richest person in prophecy and in knowledge, alayhi salatu wasalam. But in honor of brotherhood and honor of love of how Sahaba felt about him sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he would take gifts alayhi salatu wasalam. And Najashi, it is said that his name was Ashama. That was the name that was given to him. And he was the king of Abyssinia, as we said, in which a number of Sahaba migrated twice, you know, from Mecca to Al-Habasha. And he protected them. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, اذهبوا إلى أرض الحبشة فإن فيها ملكا لا يظلم عنده أحد. Go to the land of Abyssinia, for there's a king over there, no one will be wronged under him. And also, he died as a Muslim. And Najashi, when he died as a Muslim. And the Prophet did what we call Salat al-Ghaib. So there was no Salat al-Janaza on him because they were all probably Christians in that part of the world. But the Prophet did perform what? Salat al-Ghaib on them. And this is a practice. If someone died in a part of the world where there was no honor of Salat al-Janaza on him, you can do a distant Salat al-Janaza on him. So khuffain are the leather-made socks. And when we say khuff, it should cover your feet to the ankle, where the area has to be covered for using the wiping on the socks or on the leather khuff. In other words, some of these socks now are like low cut, they call them. They are just a little bit, barely covering the bottom of your feet. They don't cover your ankle, and that should not be used for al-masah al-khuffain. You cannot do that. And I know some people sometimes might purchase these leather khuff now. They sell them like in some places. But most of us wear socks actually. So we want to make sure if we want to use the socks to wipe on them, you cannot wear a low end, a low cut type. They have to cover minimum the ankle or higher more than that. Aswadain, black in color. Sadajain means there is no other color mixed with them, a pure black. So the color was black that, for the feet, that's what they used to do. And he wear them. It means the Prophet right on did wear them. He did not wait. And this is the practice that sometimes, when someone gives you something, don't wait. Use it right on the spot. First, you are honoring him. And number two, he feels that you're celebrating what he gifted you. So the Prophet right on did wear them sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And then made wudu. And then masaha alayhima, meaning when he lost wudu, he used al-masah alayhim. So there is a gap of time, although the hadith narrates the sequence right after each other, but assumingly, you only need to make masah on the khuffain or on the socks based on what? On the time that you might have used the washroom, passed gas, lost wudu on them. Let me finish with some of the conditions that we need to keep in mind whenever we are wearing a khuff or a sock to make masah on them. Number one, you have to make sure that you make wudu before you put your socks on or your khuff on. So you cannot wear your socks without having what? wudu. If you want to use them later on for what? For masah alayhim. That's number one. Number two, they have to cover what it is considered a feet to be washed in Islam. So, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم. أرجلكم is the object مفعول به ثالث for the فعل إيش فاغسلوا. So you need to wash الرجل. الرجل is, you know, the foot that it is from the top of the ankle all the way down. So that has to be covered. Also, most of the scholars said al-khuff is something you wear and you can walk with. And of course, at that time, most of the area was like sand and, you know. So by default, leather socks is kind of what? Is kind of thick. So many scholars, they say, if you want to wear a sock that you can use for masah, they have to be little bit thick. So avoid wearing what these very silky that you can see through them or something like that. Although some scholars, including Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said as long as they cover the feet, it doesn't matter how thick they are. But to be on the safe side, the normal socks that are made of cotton that we wear most of the time, if they cover the feet, if you wear them on tahara, and if they are thick enough, then it should be fine to wipe on them. And they cannot be made of something haram. So you cannot wear socks made of silk. Silk is haram to be worn by men. A woman can wear silk, it should be fine. Also, they cannot be stolen. They can, all this matters. تسرق الشوز للناس والكلساتات للناس وتقعد تصلي فيها ما بيجوز. Also, they have to be, the timing is that if you wear them while you are residing in your hometown, you can do 1 day. If you wear them for Fajr, for the Fajr of next day, you have to remove them and then what? And wash your feet again. If you, let us say, woke up, made wudu, prayed Fajr, and put on your socks, then you can make masah for Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. When it comes to Fajr of next day, you have to take them off and wash your feet again. If